Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour, brought to you by Trio Jazz Club, Sioux Falls' premier jazz club. Enter as friends, leave as family. Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, Excel Chiropractic, Quality Nails, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment Conversations. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Thank you, Zach Dresch, for the wonderful intro, my friend. This episode, Dave Holly Hour, is an hour and a half. Way, when you're having fun and don't have to worry about time constraints, you let it roll if it's good. And boy, howdy is it good today. Guests include John Bowe, Artistic Director of Old Town Dinner Theater, then one of the cutest couples in Sioux Empire showbiz, Magen Richeal and Clinton Storr. All right, in the meantime, I have to throw this in. A quick plug for one of my other entities under the Big D Entertainment umbrella. That would be the Waddies. Our first show of the year is 1 week from tonight, Thursday, March 6th at the Icon in downtown Sioux Falls. Getting lucky with the Waddies will be an evening of charmed entertainment, a fun time to get you prepped up for St. Patrick's Day later in the month. Emily Wilson and I co-host the Modern Day Vaudeville Show along with musical director Michael Sorensen. It includes music, Irish dancing, comedy, magic, giveaways, and a limerick contest. Tickets are only $15 in advance. Go to thevaudies.com. That's thevaudies.com, and Vaudies is Vaudies. Price of the doors, $20. Doors open next Thursday night, 6:45, for a 7:30 show. Now, let's pop the cork on this bubbly little show.
Time to grab your favorite beverage, lift it high, and toast it to being Thursday, a.k.a. Weekend Eve.
Hey, the weekend isn't around the corner, it's here!
So long, hump day and your frumpy way. We say hello to Thursdays with opening nights. The weekend is near and we can see the bright lights. Yes, Thursday, you're so hearty, we can't wait for Friday, so a day early, we start the party.
Whatever you're drinking and whatever you're drinking it out of most likely depends on where you are, what you're doing, and what time it is. Now, my choice is a Jasper Newton. It's a Jack Daniels Diet Coke with a lime, double tall. For you, maybe it's a bottle of water, glass of milk, a mug of beer, a cocktail, a glass of wine, or even a flute of champagne. Lift it high and toast to grilling during the last few days of February. Ooh, after a stretch of well below normal temps that we've had here in these parts, we now find ourselves in the midst of well above average highs here in the Sioux Empire. Sitting on the patio smelling a nice juicy T-bone on the 25th of February was a delight. I even heard a motorcycle on the road the other day. And what else? I understand some even found themselves on the links playing golf. So cheers to you above normal temperatures. We love ya. The Weekend Eve Toast is brought to you by Chasers Food and Spirits, West 12th near Ellis Road. Great burgers and brews amongst a flavorful menu and lots of great bevies. Monday nights at 7, we play Dave Holly Hour Trivia. That's a chance to win some Chasers gift certificates. This coming Monday night, March 3rd, the date of 3-3, it'll be all about the threes. There you go. So what over the past week made Dave laugh, giggle, chortle, chuckle, guffaw, slap his knee, or maybe even shed a tear of joy? Rockin' the Shrine Saturday night, including a karaoke contest with cash prizes for the top 3 places. And first place would get to sing with the band. It was a night of pride for me because we had 3 good friends in the competition, all of whom have been previous guests on this show. Damn if they didn't sweep it. Valerie Aarons won it. Mike Richards took second. Melissa Prostrello came in third. Valerie was just happy she got to sing with the band, and she nailed that part too. Coming up later in the show, a great time in the Dipsy Doodle studio with Magen Richeal and Clinton Storr. In just a moment, John Bowe from Old Town Dinner Theater on the Dave Holly Hour. Trio Jazz Club is an intimate music venue in the heart of Sioux Falls. It's family-owned and family-run. Ricardo and Mary Beth and the entire staff provide the art of hospitality, while the best local and regional musicians provide the smooth sounds. It's a great vibe with live music Tuesday through Saturday nights. The chefs and mixologists offer an amazing menu and beer and wine lists. Cocktails as smooth as the jazz. Join the club, Trio Jazz Club, across from the Washington Pavilion. Enter as friends, leave as family. Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts. Find it on the second floor of the historic Shriver Square building in beautiful downtown Sioux Falls. Saturday will be the last day of the 50 Shades of Red exhibit. Meanwhile, each Saturday is the Atrium Makers Market. Shop local and regional artists and crafters with a wide variety of products. Learn more at serendipitystudiosd.com.
Arts and entertainment lovers, you hit the mark. It's the Dave Holly Hour.
Welcome back, everybody. It is always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment, and always a pleasure to have this gentleman in the studio, John J. Bowe, Artistic Director from Old Town Dinner Theater. How are you?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm doing very well, and always great to see you. Always great to be down at Old Town and see what you have going on. Oh, my goodness gracious. I was at opening night last Friday for Ripcord, and Carrie and I had one of our favorites along with us, Richard, and, he has season tickets as well. And so we switch off who's going to drive down and so forth. But, the variety of audience that you guys get down there is incredibly unique, because we go and, we know quite a few people that love to go to plays, and rarely do we see, maybe more than one or two people that we know. It's always like, wow, look at this crowd that they continue to get. But we know why. You put on quality productions. How did you feel about going into Ripcord?
It was exciting because there were some aspects of the show that still needed to be sorted out because of the unique scenes in the show. But after calling in a few favors, I got to give a shout out to Mike Muller and Skydive Adventures for supplying us with not only all the gear we used for the show, but a place to do some filming. And they had a green screen out there for us to use and an actual perfect airplane. And they were very accommodating. So again, shout out to Mike Muller and Skydive Adventures.
Oh, fantastic. And that was almost, I thought, okay, we're going to have intermission? What's going on here? And no, that was not intermission. But it's an absolutely hoot of a scene. And give us the setup then as to why these two ladies are back and forth. One's trying to scare the other, and one's trying to make the other one mad. And it goes through a lot of variety of ways that they keep trying. But I'll let you talk a little bit more about it. What was drawing you to this script?
Well, when I first started reading the script, it seemed pretty standard. I mean, it was David Lindsay Bear, so I was expecting it to actually be dirtier than it was, because I've read a number of his scripts, and I love them, but they're not all Old Town shows. But this one, went right down that alley. But so I started reading it, and all of a sudden there's, a twist, and then a twist, and then the airplane, and then, it's all the things you're not expecting to happen that really keep you engaged.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, you've got a cast that's outstanding. And kudos to Old Town for always seemingly finding the absolute perfect person for a role. And Rose Reed is one of the two main characters. And, I tell people, I said, she's really the Energizer Bunny of actresses in this area. And she will play any part. She will do anything. So God bless her for her love of theater. And, you sit there, and one of the ways I always have to judge as to how something is going in a play is, okay, we've seen Rose in a lot of things, and you always come out knowing that it wasn't Rose, she was acting. But yet there's a lot of Rose that goes into her acting. What did you find in the others then that you said, so-and-so, you're going to play this, and then you guys are going to be filling in a few different spots and in different situations. So what made you choose these particular people?
Well, first, Phyllis, she plays Abby, the other lady. Phyllis, I've worked with Phyllis a number of times. I loved her, and she's the one who brought us the script. So, like, immediately I had her in mind when reading it. But then going into the audition, I found out later on that she's loved this script for many years, read it many times. And, I mean, she was already working on lines before we even got to auditions, because if she got the part, she wanted to make sure she was ready. And so, but when she read for the role, like, it felt right. She knew the character so well already. There was not much doubt in my mind, because I auditioned her before the regular audition. So everyone else had to kind of live up to that. And like I said, no one quite got Abby like she did. Okay.
And was she hoping that she would be Abby?
I think so. I know she was hoping for one of the ladies.
Right.
But I saw her as Abby immediately.
Yeah. And then the rest of the cast.
Well, so Rob and Mindy, they've never done a show together. But having done shows with each of them, knowing their personalities, they're either a couple or siblings. Like, they kind of have that, like, loving but butting heads relationship. And during rehearsals, we'll be sitting there before we're starting, and they're having this back and forth where I'm like, you sound like an old married couple, and you guys just met. So the energy they both bring as well, because the two main ladies are very real. And then these, this husband and wife need to be heightened. And so when they come through that door, it's just this ball of energy injecting into the scene. And then, Andrew I've worked with for many years.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite people. I love the guy. And when he auditioned for this show, I saw him in this role of Benjamin, because he and Mindy and Rob, they play multiple characters.
Yes.
But specifically this role of Benjamin, Phyllis's son, it had some real meat in it. And he got to touch on that in Death Trap last year, but it's such a big role, like, we didn't have time to hit all the nuance. So with this role, I felt like I really got to see what Andy can do. He put everything into it, and it was one of those things where, again, I thought he could do it, and then when he started doing it, he removed any doubt that there might have been, where he got it.
Yeah. And he got it well.
Yeah.
And in fact, that was interesting, how the play flowed when it comes to the point where Benjamin enters. That's strong material there. And it's nice to see how that comes about. And then the gift that he gives at the end and so forth. It's precious in that way. So, we may start off talking about the fact that, hey, this is hilarious. What a great comedy. But there's some real good themes in there, too, that you have to pick up on. Is that something that when you are reading a play, because you mentioned the fact that you were reading it and, twist and twist and twist. Oh, what's this? But is that something that you want to find in a play so that there's some structures, there's some themes, and there's some things that surprise you?
Oh, definitely. When I read a show, because I read so many, there needs to be something that grabs me. And sometimes it's something little, but with a show like this where by the time you get to the end and you stop and think about it, you want to go back and read it again, just now that you've seen the whole, so you can try to zoom in on the little parts like that. And so a show like this was kind of a no-brainer where I guess the only hesitation I had were how to stage those couple of scenes we mentioned. But nothing about the script itself did I, have any problem with. So
how many scripts do you read a year?
I mean, I would say 12 to 15 new different scripts. And it kind of goes in these waves where when I'm working on a show, I have no time. And then I get, then the show opens and I have to get ready to audition for the next show. And then as soon as that show is cast, I have a small window where I try to read, 3-4 scripts. And, a lot of them aren't ones that either I want to do or that we could do. But luckily, like people like Phyllis and other people on the programming committee will find scripts and submit them. So it's nice when I can read those because they've already gone through one level of,
right.
of person who thinks that it could be good at Old Town. So and it's, something where I'll go to the different play websites and see what's new, see what's popular, and, try not to do things that have, been done in the area unless it's something I already wanted to do.
Right.
Because we have had a few times where we've been thinking about this show and then someone else does it and we're like, all right, gotta wait at least 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years.
That's the magic time point, huh? So what do you describe as an Old Town show?
Well, my favorite Old Town show, it's a medium-sized cast. Small casts are great, big casts are great, but I feel like in a medium-sized cast, I still have time to work with everybody individually. But you can do a little more with a bigger cast. But so yeah, medium-sized cast, rolling comedy with some heart. And I mean, a lot of our shows are just straight comedy, and that's great and that's fun. But when it can throw a little heart, little message in there, that will really grab me, and I think grabs our patrons as well, where, you can enjoy a show, but then if you enjoy it and at the end you were also moved by it, that's the key. Yeah,
which is very much the key in Ripcord too. Yeah, and but you do happen to have a flair and favor the farce genre quite often. And is that what you would say is your favorite thing to direct?
I would say second favorite.
Okay, what's first?
First, it would be the like I described, the real big comedy with some heart in the end. Farce is really close though, because I mean it's just all fun the whole way through, and especially when you find a good one. Like Ray Cooney does a lot of really good farces. And which actually our one of our shows next season is a Ray Cooney show, where he has this way of getting through the exposition without it feeling like you're getting an exposition done. Where it's funny and it's funny from start to finish, but the second act is always even funnier because the first act they're giving you the jokes with that exposition. So it's kind of a pattern that way, in that it's going to, and act 1's going to be fun, and then act 2 is going to be insane. And,
Is it more difficult because of the blocking, though?
yes, well, blocking and timing, because
Right.
timing you can't really teach. The best you can do is try to show them the timing for that specific moment and hope they can mimic it. So when someone already has the timing, it makes my job a lot easier if they have good comic timing. But yeah, the blocking, you can always work it and get it where it needs to be.
Yeah.
The comic timing, like I said, you just have to hope they've got it, and if they don't, do your best to give it to them.
Yeah, well, the thing that I love about farces is the blocking, the fact that, somebody's going out a door and then somebody's coming in a door and they miss, and then there was the opportunity for those two to have worked something out, but it's always a boom, 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 boom. But so much fun. And, you work in a small theater, but is there anything that you would like to see done in that theater in terms of, making the stage a little more versatile? Anything that you're hoping for down the line?
Well, there's like, in an ideal world, I'd have a scene shop connected to the stage, so I can do more building outside of the theater. But on a fly system and, wing space.
Right.
But like, looking at it realistically, what I'd really like to do is, we've got some space in the back of behind the actual stage before we get to the alley.
Mm-hmm.
I'd really like to knock down that wall and push it back. And while we can't have more width, because we're limited by the width of the building.
On that part, yeah.
But if we had a little more depth, instead of having wings, we could have a back, that back area, so we could do more shows where you need to, have carts rolling on and off, for different scenes and things like that. Because in the past, when I've done stuff like that, it's been like, when we did The Shape of Things, I used carts, but that also meant half the stage was backstage.
Yeah.
So, luckily it's only a 4-person show, so it was enough stage space, but really more space. And I think that's the way I see us having more space.
Okay. Yeah. Because it's like, I love the small theater. And well, first of all, if you've not been to Old Town, here's what you're going to experience: a great show. And you're probably going to have the best meal you've had, with maybe the exception of Thanksgiving or Christmas and Easter. But otherwise, it's going to be the best meal you have for at least that week, month, quarter of a year, whatever. So take advantage of that and then see a phenomenal show at the same time. And again, this one that we have going on right now, I say we like I'm part of it, but Ripcord is hilarious. I give it what scale do you want me to rank it on? Like a 1 to 10?
Let's do 1 to 10. Yeah.
1 to 10? I'll give it a 9. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. It and just feels so good. You'll come out of there not only laughing and maybe even going in some parts, but you'll also be thinking after the show, yeah, and that's always a good thing when you have that happen after attending live local theater. And so congratulations, my friend, on this one. Tell us the dates that you still have running for this then.
All right. I'm not sure when this is going to be released. We just finished our opening weekend, so we'll have 4 more weekends after this. But we'll close on the 23rd of March. Also, I know it is expensive, and especially if you're a local artist, we don't have a lot of extra income. If you volunteer, you can either bartend or serve, and you get the full meal and the show as well. So it's a little bit of work, and it's a big
and a lot
payoff.
of enjoyment. Yeah. And what about set construction, things like that? Are you always looking for volunteers to help out with all of that?
I am, but that's a little more difficult because I do all my set construction when most people are working their regular jobs. But if someone has an irregular schedule, I'd always like some help. So
yeah, well, I know that the volunteers on show nights and so forth is well enjoyed. I'll put it that way, because there are people that attend every show, or, each show that you have throughout the season, not every show of every show, that always go, oh, what night am I going to volunteer this time on this show? And so that's a wonderful position to be in. And you still do have to, before heading into the show, hey, we still need this for the weekend, but it always seems to happen. And that's fantastic. But what's great is, yes, a lot of these people go there and they get to see that show and have that meal as a volunteer. But a lot of them come back and pay the admission too, and bring somebody else to it.
yeah.
Yeah. Smart cookies you are.
Well, and our volunteers are amazing. There have been, especially around Christmas when there's so much going on, going into a weekend where we still need 10 volunteers, and we put out a call, and all these people who show up have already volunteered for this show, so it's it's not like they're coming just to see the show. And some of them, well, I'll shout out Rick Albrecht. He volunteers multiple performances for every single show.
Wow.
But he's not the only one who does stuff like that. So, well, when we put out the call, they seem to answer it. Even, like I said, even if they've already seen the show, they've been there a couple times. Some season ticket holders are also volunteers. So it's a wonderful group of people.
That it is, no doubt about that. Are we letting slip what's coming up next year?
Oh, yeah.
Since season tickets are already on sale and we already bought ours.
Yeah, because I think it's up on the website too. But yeah, we're going to start with a a show called The Book of Matthew, and then in parentheses Leibowitz.
Yeah,
that show is very new. The playwright got in touch with a friend of Aaron Sharp.
Really?
And Aaron brought it to us. And I guess he'd sent it out to a number of the Sioux Falls theaters. So we wanted to make sure we got to do it. So we locked that in months ago, before we locked in the rest of the season. We're like, we know this, we're going to do this show in the fall. And then, that one is definitely more of a drama, a little bit of comedy. So it's not heavy drama, but definitely more of a drama. And then in the winter, or I guess the holiday slot, we're doing the Savannah Sipping Society. It's been on our list for so many years, where it's like almost gonna do it, and then someone's real passionate about one show or another, so we're like, okay, we'll put it on the short list for next year. And finally we're just like, we have to do the show. We want to do the show, and we can't just keep pushing it off, because like I said, it's a great show and we just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah, so it's been simmering on the back stove. Yeah, but you're bringing it up to the forefront. And then what else remains that for next year then?
So then, I'm blanking on the winter show.
Well, we can move on.
Well, the spring show, we're doing Clue live on stage.
Okay.
That one scares me a little bit.
In what way?
In that there's so many rooms on our little stage. So really, the play itself doesn't scare me, just because I'm also the tech director. I'm going, okay, we need to be able to quickly transition from room to room to room. Am I confident I can figure it out, or do I know how I'm going to do it?
Right.
So I'm at the point I'm confident I can figure it out, because I've got a couple different ideas. But yeah, I love the movie, and it's basically a recreation of the movie Clue.
Okay.
And
will it have a different ending each night, or is it always going to be the same?
I believe it'll have Well, it has the possibility of having different endings.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that.
Because there's a way I want to approach that I don't want to give away, but I've got a fun idea.
Well, see, when you were talking about all the scenes and so forth, when I asked you the question about, what would you like to build, I thought maybe it'd be a revolving stage.
I've done that before, and actually, I've got an idea for a better functioning revolve. Because right now I know it's not the right way to build a revolve, but when I was young, I built this revolve that we've kept around, where it's just basically castered platforms in a circle with a pivot point made out of plumbing parts. But I want to try to build one that's an actual turntable, so the wheels are underneath, and so just a lot easier to move, a lot smoother. But so that's a possibility for Clue. But yeah, so with that, I'm thinking about splitting it into thirds and not having one specific wall for one specific room, but having it in a way where when this scene gets done, it rotates. And then during this scene, the stuff from the previous scene is struck and the next scene is set. So then it's basically like an assembly line going backstage.
Wow.
So you can just keep rotating through.
Yeah. All right. We'll look forward to that.
The Ray Cooney show is the one that I forgot.
Okay. Yeah.
It's called, now I'm blanking on the title.
You remembered Ray.
Yeah. But it's about a guy who makes fur coats and his assistant, and in the classroom or classic bedroom farce, the main guy is having an affair and his assistant is trying to cover for him, and of course the wife shows up, and the woman who he's having an affair with, her husband shows up, and other people show up to get in the way, and yeah, it's
all right.
Not Now, Darling.
There we go. Yeah,
I knew it would cover
Darling. I couldn't think of it either because it's like I know I was reading the title going, oh yeah, I've seen that one before, and it's great. All right, what about the remainder of this year then? After what we have with Ripcord.
Next up, we have Play On, and actually auditions are in a week from today. So
okay, excellent.
It's a bigger cast. It's kind of in the same vein as Noises Off.
Yeah.
And actually considered doing Noises Off again. We did that years ago before I was the artistic director, and somehow we fit a 3-story set on our little stage. I mean, they weren't actual stories, and our one guy who played our stage manager was 6'4", I think. When he had to go up in the attic, he had to stay ducked down, otherwise his head went above the set. So,
the joys.
Yeah. So I like the idea of doing this show because it's not one I've done before, like Noises Off, but it's in that same vein, the same type of humor, the same type of fun. So,
all right, it's sounding good for Old Town all the way through. That's for sure. Oh, you've been on this show many times, John, so you've answered all the fun previous questions. I'm going to go with, what is your favorite album?
Ooh. It's constantly revolving, but I would say right now it's Jeff Lynne's Armchair Theater.
Okay.
And actually that's all the music in Ripcord is Jeff Lynne. Because in the fall, I heard one song off of a new ELO album, and it's not that new, but it's newer, that immediately my mind went to Ripcord when I had nothing else going on Ripcord at the time. Like, I went straight to Ripcord. So then all of a sudden I was like, well, I gotta see if there are other ELO or Jeff Lynne songs that feel right for this show. And the more I went through, I'm like, oh, this would be like Mr. Blue Sky plays right after the skydive, and the song Lift Me Up is right before the skydive. And so like little things like that. And I also liked how it set the mood. Where I
Freak
feel
scene,
like
yeah.
Jeff Lynne and ELO they're kind of timeless. Where like the CD that they made in the 2000s and the stuff they were making back in the 70s, you wouldn't be able to go, okay, yeah, this is their new sound, this is their old sound. It's all their sound. So
Yeah, and it was fun because quite often then you had to sing along with the audience. They were digging it the whole time. All right. John Bowe, Artistic Director, Old Town Dinner Theater in Worthing. Thank you as always, my friend. It's so great to see you and so great to just talk about how things go at Old Town.
Well, for any excuse to come talk to you.
I love it. All right, my friend. And we'll be back with more of the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment. Here's what's coming up on the Trio Jazz Club playlist. Saturday, enjoy classic jazz tunes with the Steve Smith Quartet. 2 shows, 6:30 and 9. Tuesday night, the dynamic duo of Joel Shotwell on saxophone and Terry Brooks on piano take the stage at 6:30 for another memorable evening. And Wednesday evening is the monthly Jazz Jam starting at 7. Catch some of the rising stars for a completely improvised night of jazz. Sit in with a house band led by drummer Dan Heyer. For more information, go online to triojazzclub.com.
Are you an artist? Need some funding to further your art? There's a great opportunity for you through a Sioux Falls Arts Council program. The Artist Microgrant program gives away several microgrants to local artists, no matter what art discipline you're in. Unlike more traditional grants, a microgrant is very easy to apply for. Go to artssiouxfalls.org. If you haven't done so yet, create a listing on the Artist Directory, which is beneficial in its own way. Then go to the Artist Microgrants page and apply online. The process is simple. Find out more about the Sioux Falls Arts Council as well online at artssiouxfalls.org.
Dr. Perry Langston and Dr. Corey Towne know excellence is in you. That's why they provide you with excellent care at XO Chiropractic, improving your overall health in spirit, body, mind, and will. Get results the natural way. Arrange a consultation, 605-332-9235 or xochiros.com. Excellent care for excellent people. XO Chiropractic, located at 4309 South Racket Drive in Sioux Falls.
It's the podcast that creatives in the Sioux Empire listen to so they can learn more about other creatives. It's the Dave Holly Hour.
Welcome back, everybody. Yeah, you know what I have to say. It is always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire arts and entertainment. And whether it's a new guest or a returning guest, it's always a pleasure there, too. One of each this time around. Magen Richeal, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Wonderful. Welcome to the first time into the Dipsy Doodle Production Studio in the Dave Holly Hour.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, just to get the microphone a little bit closer to you.
Okay,
Yeah, there we go. All right. And Clinton Storr makes a return. Why it hasn't been earlier, I'm not sure. Oh, wait. We've been trying for the two of you for a couple years now.
It's true.
Yes.
Yeah, but Clinton, we just get yours down.
Absolutely.
There. Oh, my. Everybody sounds good now. That's fantastic.
I just have to have better posture.
Well, you're a dancer. You probably already have that, right?
That's true.
Is that something you consider when you're dancing? It's like,
I don't think I consider it. I think I naturally do it now.
Just do it now? Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's to that point. So when did you start dancing?
I started dancing when I was, 3.
Wow.
Actually taking classes at 3. And
My
I've
goodness.
just never stopped. I've been dancing or teaching ever since.
Yeah. All right. And you have your own place now.
I do.
DR, as in Del Rapids, Hip Hop Shop.
Yep, it's the Hip Hop Shop.
Yeah.
It's been there for plus 20 years, and I've owned it for about 10.
Okay. Now, what's fun is the way it comes up on Instagram.
Is Dr. Hip Hop Shop.
Yeah, Dr. Hip Hop Shop.
And that's that's what people think. I kind of did it that way on purpose because I want.
Right.
There's a lot of hip hop.
Yeah.
Shop, so I had to kind of distinguish it. And I'm like, well, Del Rapids, Doctor, it'll stand out. So
I like it. It looks great too. And so, how many classes do you teach yourself? Do you have other teachers along with you?
I'm the head teacher for every class that I teach, but I do have a few subs. So I have some girls that come in and will teach a class for me if I can't be there. But otherwise, I teach them all. COVID did that. Before COVID, I had a few teachers, but I started doing it on my own during COVID, and I've never stopped.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. COVID changed a lot of things.
It did.
That's for sure.
yeah.
So how many classes do you offer? What do you have?
Oh, it varies from week to week, but I would say like about a dozen each week. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and of course, not just teaching, but that choreography skill then goes over to so many other things.
It does.
Like musicals. And
That's how I got involved in theater with choreography. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the first time I saw you actually was at the band shell, McKinnon Park, during the summer, the one that Kim Bartling puts on.
Yeah. The Broadway and the park or whatever. Yep.
I believe that was the first time I had seen you.
Okay.
And I thought, boy, she's got some talent here, and then all of a sudden I start seeing your name pop up in playbills and so many other times, and not just, as a choreographer, but as a dancer or being involved in the scene in another way. What's been the most fun for you with this whole journey of your dancing?
Oh my goodness, that's impossible to answer. All of it. It's been fun to kind of, stretch my wings and do something different. Mm-hmm. So I've enjoyed the acting portion because that's kind of new for me. I was not a theater kid growing up at all. I started theater in my 40s, so that's kind of not usual. But I don't know. I think just the people and kind of almost schmoozing with them and feeling like I'm kind of vicariously stealing their talent here and there. Like not stealing, but sharing. Yeah. Learning from them. And choreography for musical theater is very different than what I've done.
Right.
So it's been like, kind of combining what I've done my whole life with new ideas. And I don't know. I love it all.
I was on Instagram this morning and just flipping through things. And of course, if you spend more than 3 seconds on Instagram, you are going to see a reel of Taylor Swift.
I love Taylor Swift.
Yeah. And so it's on there. And, she was doing a dance routine and singing. And I thought, okay, I've never asked this of any of our dancers before, but who are the pop stars that you look up to in terms of dance? Like Beyonce, or is it J-Lo?
Well, I'm old, so the people that I grew up idolizing were like Janet Jackson and Paula Abdul, Michael Jackson. Yeah. Today, Taylor Swift is a performer. I wouldn't say she's a dancer. She has incorporated that in, but she's not necessarily a, standout dancer. She's everything else. She's such a great performer.
Best at marketing.
Yes. Obviously Beyonce knows how to dance. As current people, I'm trying to think who I go back to the old. I'm old, so 80s, 90s. That's my jam. So that's kind of who influenced me.
I'm 62. So.
Well, speaking of Taylor Swift, that's my favorite.
Then for me, it's we're talking about Ginger Rogers, Sid Charisse.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Gene Kelly, Fred Astaire.
Which is making me think of Madonna, Vogue.
Yes.
You just quoted quite a bit of her Vogue song. Madonna, another big one for me.
Exactly. Yeah. So what's been your favorite acting role that you have had up to date?
Oh my goodness, my favorite acting role. I haven't done a whole lot of what I would call actually acting that doesn't incorporate singing and dancing. But, I did a show a few years ago where we did a monologue from The Marriage Story.
Yes,
that's what I was leading into.
Yeah, because that was outside of my normal, and I definitely had to tap into my real life sort of emotion, which was something I'd never really had to do, and it was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun. It was torturous a little bit because it was very emotional.
It was incredibly powerful and emotional, and you guys nailed it. It's just like,
thank you.
Woof. And then, of course, Clinton, along with everything else, he's a great MC, and, he's taken away a lot of work from me. No.
Never. I would never take away from the great.
We have. We have. It's interesting. We talked about this one time after something that you had just MC'd, and it's like, because you had told me one time, oh, man, you're such a great, and I'm like, this guy has got it, in terms of the modern. I'm more of the old-fashioned, stand up at the microphone and ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, blah, 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 blah. But he's got, all the backstories, and he's continuing to roll, and it just all comes out there, and boom, here we go. And I love that I know if I have a friend that can do that, So if somebody says, hey, Dave, can you do this as be an MC for this? No, but do you know who Clinton Store is? And so I try to pass things along your way. because I know what my capabilities are, and I know what yours are in our styles. And so it's like, Clinton would be really good for this. So
Wow,
I
thank
hope you get some stuff out of it from time to time.
I do.
Yeah.
And that level of energy that you say that I bring to it is just my way for making up for not having the smooth and calming, confident voice that Dave Holly
great
presents
voice.
to us.
Don't
So
sell yourself short.
I sometimes sound like I'm a cat that's being chased by a dog, and so I don't like the way it is. So I have to, just remember to calm down.
Okay, that's all right. But, it's fun to watch you. You've been on the show before, had you, I think in about 4 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been that long
I
already.
know.
Yes. Yeah.
And, well, because, I'm individual guests are like around 400 now. Yeah, so it's been fantastic to get so many different people on. But and people will come up and say, well, that person's been on quite a bit. Well, yeah, there are some reasons for it because they're involved in a lot of things. But I always still love to get somebody on and just talk about what they've got going on because you learn so much.
There's so much. Our community is so big. There's so many different things that people are into and are doing that it just amazes me that I can know so many people like yourself, like Megan, that are so involved and have such a wide influence over what's happening. The one thing that I think is really great is when you'll meet someone on the street, you're at High V or something, and somebody walks, oh, I remember you. You're the person that did this, or my kids used to go to this event that you hosted, and they still remember you, and you're dancing or something like that. And I love that. I love that that influence being spread, and in a good way, where they saw something that they liked, and it gave them some happiness. So yeah.
Well, the other thing is that if you are in theater in any way, or basically even in the arts community in this town, that you have a family.
Yes.
It's your artistic family, it's your entertainment family, theater family, whatever. And the more things you do, the more that grows.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the family part is really probably the most important to me because for most of us, this is not our full-time job.
Right.
I mean, I wish it was. I wish it did pay the mortgage, but it doesn't.
Yeah, $14 a week on this thing.
Yeah.
Do it.
So yeah, this is a way that we interact, socialize with people. We share our stories, we share our triumphs, we share our failures, and it makes us enjoy and be just happy about the things that are going on in life. We involve our families involved with it, and it's the joy part of it, versus the go make money, pay bills, stuff
I also
like
think
that.
that's why people stay. I came into it, and I've seen other people do it. They come into it because they enjoy one aspect of theater or art or whatever, and they stay because they find
of
a
it.
family.
Yeah.
And they almost, it becomes. I would just compared it to church the other day.
Yeah.
I really did, because it's a family, and it's therapy, and it's who you talk to about things, and it's it's so much more than just getting up there and showcasing talent.
Something you have to have in your life.
Yeah, you need it.
I never would have thought for me personally, going back, that the things that we all watch, that we see on TV or listen to on the radio, everyone pays attention to entertainment, whether it's radio, TV, something like that. Never would have thought I would have been on the other side of those things. It's like, who's watching me? Who's listening to me, and why? What makes me interesting enough to pay attention to? But I do it because I just love to do it. I have a good time doing it, and I grow from it. I become better at different things, builds confidence, all those different traits. So, yeah.
What came first for you, the dancing or the singing?
Oh my gosh, let's see. I have a choreographer sitting next to me, and I have one of the greatest orators of all time sitting in front of me. So I'm going to play it safe and say that acting came first.
Aha. All right.
Acting up.
Acting up.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you were an MC at anything?
As a matter of fact, I do. I was handed a microphone. My kids went to Lincoln High School. Shout out to Lincoln. And I was working what we called a spirit wear. So I was in charge of basically selling merch for the band, for the marching band. And they handed me the microphone to just promote some of that merchandise. And I think that it just kind of took off right there. It's like, oh, I can do this. I'm standing on a football field in front of, a few hundred people, and I want them to be interested in buying this hoodie.
Yeah.
I think I made some comment I was talking about the hoodie, and in it had like a logo in the hood. And I said, yep, it's got the Lincoln logo in the hood. So you all know it's all good in the hood. And I'm like, yep, I just said that in front of all of you all. And everybody started laughing. And I was like, oh, okay, I like this. I'm going to keep going.
What's been your favorite role acting?
Oh, man, I get asked this question all the time, and I feel like I never.
Oh, you've been on other people's podcasts?
No. I would never. No. I'm a one podcast kind of guy.
Has its own now.
One podcast kind of guy. No. That was Jaquan. Man, it's so hard. Just done so many roles lately. I want to say that my favorite has been. It's a toss-up right now between either King Triton and Little Mermaid or Gaston and Beauty and the Beast.
Ooh.
My favorite was Lombardi for you. I loved you in Lombardi.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a small show, but loved it.
Yeah.
That one was so much fun.
You know what else I loved about that show? Is there are people that, when it won, I think Jesse got Best Director for that at Sioux Falls Stage Awards. And some people next to us said, oh, a football player.
No, it was so
No.
Yeah. It's
so many people
You
didn't
missed
see it.
out.
Yeah, they
Yes.
missed out on one of the greatest. I mean, it's one of my favorite productions
Yeah.
in a long time. I mean, really, it's in the top 3 at least for me. And so many people didn't see it.
I know. And it's and Chris Andrews.
yes.
Oh yes.
Oh wow.
I know.
The work
Blow
he
you
put in
off.
on that. Wow.
Yeah.
So it was so much. I mean, a lot of him just monologuing.
Yeah.
Just wow. And which is I fear is a nightmare for me, having to learn huge swaths of text for shows. And I've seen people do it, and I'm just always amazed at how they can just basically rattle off 3 pages, by themselves.
And for him coming in late too, he didn't even start at the beginning.
Right,
Of that
yeah,
picture.
yeah.
He came in late, and he's still yeah, amazing.
Well, that is, you both are, and so appreciative that you're here today, and finally get both of you on the podcast at the same time.
Yes, amazing.
Now it's early in the day. We're recording this on Wednesday, and it comes out Thursday morning. But it's nice and sunny out there, and let's see, 43 degrees is all so far. So
Beautiful in the studio here.
yeah, but we did grill last night, so the grilling season is upon us.
We talked about
Yes.
it last night. It just got too dark. Otherwise, we were going to grill some
Oh
pork
man!
chops.
But the Firefly Oasis is open for business. That's for sure.
Yes, everyone. We're just giving you a quick promotion. Firefly Oasis here at the Dave Holly studio is one of the most wonderful restaurants you will ever be at. And make your reservations early. They are filling up quick for the year. Stay tuned for more coming out.
I love impromptu stuff. No, it's great. So what is up for you guys coming up now? Next projects.
We have got a lot going on. Well, first, Megan is choreographing or choreographer on 9 to 5 coming up with the premiere Playhouse here in June.
Well, we
was it?
start in April. We'll start rehearsal in April, but I think the show is in June.
Yes.
We just
Yep.
had auditions a couple weeks ago for that. Well, we still haven't even got the cast fully decided
Yeah, haven't
yet.
figured that out
yeah.
yet. Working on that. I am.
He's gonna be in it.
I've auditioned for it, so we'll see what happens. We'll see where I land.
I
gonna
had the feeling you probably will be in it. Yeah.
Let's see. Like you said, creating in color. We just did the live and local. We're also looking at performing at Dada coming up here in March. Sorry, the date is blanking on me right now.
Yeah.
Yes, was it 29th or? I'm forgetting what the date was, so I apologize. I just don't have it like off the top of my head. And on top of that, looking out to August, Megan and I are going to be dancing with Lyra Dance Company again. So, and their 10th anniversary. I think.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
This time around.
Yeah, 10th anniversary recital. So that is going to be amazing and probably my biggest challenge, being an old person trying to keep up with dance with these professionals who have been doing it since they were 3 years old.
And a lot of 20-somethings that are just amazingly talented. Yes.
Well, not only talented in the dance part, the skill part of it, but also a lot of them are doing a lot of choreography.
Oh,
yeah.
they're everywhere. It's so exciting to see dance community in Sioux Falls it's just huge.
Yeah.
It's great. And it's such a fun community too. I've actually had so much, it's very, to me, not only just for myself enjoying it, but professional development,
Yes.
and it's been a blast. So,
So
Yeah.
lots of stuff on the rise. You mentioned creating in color. Let's see. How did that group form?
Sure. So to quote Josiah,
Oh,
yes,
Dave
yes,
loves
sure.
this story,
So, so creating in color came about a group of performers, myself, Shannon Dantzler, Etta McKinley, Josiah Southall, Ebby. Ebby. Oh, wow.
Ebony.
Yes, Ebony. Sorry. Now I got tongue tied. Apologize. I have to get back into the right mode. So as I was saying, creating in color came about from a group of performers that we all met through theater, doing shows with Premier Playhouse. Also did some shows with Goodnight Theater Company. And we just kind of saw each other sort of across the stage. We didn't really know each other at all, which is still kind of interesting to me that I'm still meeting new people that we are in these spaces, but don't really know each other. I think Grease was the first show I did with Josiah. I think it was Grease, possibly.
I think so.
And then, of course, doing Little Mermaid with Etta. And Shannon, I have to give her the credit. Shannon Dantzler, I've been going all the way back to Beauty and the Beast back in 2021, was the one that actually had the idea that we should, get together and form a group. And it's just been amazingly collaborative since then. Just the time that we've put into it, the thought to what we're going to present for the last show that we just did with Live and Local.
Yeah, but you're actually selling yourself short on the credit there, because you actually were asked to be a solo performer.
Yeah, for Vaudi's.
For Vaudi's, and then as you were developing your idea, do you remember that? Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I'm sorry, I do forget that. So I apologize, Dave. Let's go back to the Genesis.
But also to yourself.
True.
You just, again, this was kind of in the beginning your idea. You thought, well, maybe I could have some backup dancers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, that. So you really kind of have a big
let's talk. Let's talk about that real quick. So I did the Vaudi show. Dave graciously invited me to perform on that, and as Megan said, and I had this idea. I think I was having to get together at my apartment, and they were showing me some of this performance that was in the movie The Color Purple, the new movie Color Purple, and had the one dance called Workin'. And I thought, well, I want to do this song, but it would really, hit better if we had somebody else like backing up and with vocals and dance and such. And so, I got the idea to bring those others up on stage, and we pulled it off, and it was great. I thought it went great. You were at the new location starting out, and
people loved it. I remember comments. People said it was their favorite act of the night.
Yeah. And so in honor of that, when we did the Live and Local, we finished off that performance with a kind of a recreation of that. This time was led by Josiah and Ebony. With the rap portion. So so that's really kind of the genesis, I guess. I didn't think of it that way. So.
That was on Leap Day last year.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And so basically we are at a year now.
Wow.
And I kind of like to think of it as a leap of faith for all of you in the way that, you took off. You jumped off the cliff and you made it to the other side. And everything's going so great. And it's, kind of almost an open invitation to all of you now to be on the Vaudis. Well, especially since I owe you money because, I knew you said, well, I might bring a couple of people up on stage and so forth. No. And then I see in the ticket sales, wonder why Clinton bought so many. And he's in the show. and now I'm like, I feel guilty that I didn't pay those people.
No, that's fine. So I'm going to say right here and right now, on the Dave Holly podcast to all of the millions of fans that are listening around the world that Creating in Color owes its genesis to Dave Holly, Big D himself at the Vaudis for giving us the opportunity to put this together and start it. So all of you out there, thank you so much again. I want you to send your well wishes to the man himself, the myth, the legend, Dave Holly.
Well, and
it's true.
I see a singing dance couple right in front of me that should be on a show sometime.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun. We could
you are the doctor of hip hop. So.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we probably won't be doing that. The irony is I don't do a whole lot of hip hop, but.
All righty. Anything on your mind, Clinton?
So what is on my mind is that Dave, and can we be frank? May I be frank with you, Dave?
That was my father's first name officially.
So, we are. You bring people on all the time and you ask us questions, but I think people are more interested in what is going on inside Dave's mind.
And life. What's going on?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I look around this wonderful studio. I look at all the memorabilia, and ladies and gentlemen, you are missing out. It is a fabulous studio. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
And I just want to know, what is it that drives, Mr. Holly himself? What makes you do what you do?
Good question.
Your passion becomes my passion. Carrie asked me, this was over a year ago even, she says, what makes you the happiest? Being a semi-intelligent husband, I said, aside from the time I spend with you, I said it's when I go 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. This is my zone. This is what makes me keep doing it. And just the fact that I'm going to learn something new every time. 267 episodes now, and I'm learning something every time. And even if it is somebody that's been on several times, there's still something new there. First timers, I especially love getting to know what makes them tick, besides just, hey, you do great on stage, or you do great in that band. Mm-hmm. I want to know what got them to that point, especially when it comes, I will quite often ask drummers that, did you have to take piano lessons first? Because, at least back in the days that I was in elementary and junior high and high school, if you were going to be a drummer, you had to take piano lessons for a couple of years first because they wanted you to be able to keep time and have the rhythm and so forth. And it's just it's such a joy to see where people came from. And another question I'll ask, especially if they're a great guitar player, all right, how many guitars do you have in the closet? And, what type of another thing that I always like to ask is, who do you look up to? Who guides you? Because I learned a long time ago from I believe he's passed on now, but my first job out of college was at KFKA Radio in Greeley, Colorado. And back then, the Denver Broncos held their training camp in Greeley at the University of Northern Colorado. And it was John Elway's second year. And a lot of cool stuff. It was one of the first years that the NFL would allow teams to practice together for a couple of days, scrimmage, etc. And the then Houston Oilers were practicing with the Broncos. And they had the legendary coach, Bum Phillips. It was Warren Moon's first year in the NFL after having been in the Canadian Football League. And Mike Rozier from Nebraska was their running back. And so they would have two sessions. There was a morning session and an afternoon session. And the little remote studio that we had was about a 16-foot trailer. You could get electricity into it, but we didn't have air conditioning. We didn't have a refrigerator. We had a cooler. We'd have to bring our own beer. And so the morning session has long been over, and I, drove around town, got something to eat, came back, and it's still probably 45 minutes before players are going to be coming out onto the field once again. And I'm standing there because it was cooler outside, and all of a sudden up waddles Tony LaMonica. Big voice, Tony LaMonica, K-House Sports. And their trailer, 65-foot land yacht, was right next to our little 16-foot dinghy. And so he's coming in and he says, did you get any tape this morning on anybody? I said, yeah, I got, Bum Phillips, Mike Rozier, and Warren Moon. He says, yeah, he said, I had to miss the morning session because I had to go interview Terry Bradshaw. He was in town filming a Conoco commercial. Do you want to swap tape? Sure, Mr. LaMonica, I would love to. So we go over to his trailer. He opens up the door. This waft of air conditioning hits. Leather seats and a full bar. And we swap the tape and so forth. And he can tell it's, my first full-time job. And he says, do me 2 favors. I said, okay. He says, first of all, never be afraid to ask a stupid question, even when you know it's a stupid question, because it may get you a piece of audio that you'll hang on to for life. I said, okay. I said, what's the second? He says, don't try to be me. Don't try to be Barbara Walters. Don't try to be Larry King. Named them all off. He says, just be you. And I think that that's one of the things that's always driven me is I love a good conversation. I am not the hard-hitting boom, 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 boom. And I'll tell another side story here in just a moment. And I've remembered that. I will grab things. I will absorb things from, other announcers, MCs, etc. But you never want to be somebody else. And so I always kept that in mind. And then what was funny was when I worked at Cal-O-Am, oh, goodness, 25 years ago now, I think it was, Susan Malone was my a co-host on a morning talk show, just a 1-hour thing. And her husband then was the general manager at Cal-O TV, very well respected across the nation in television. And so Mark and Susan and I went to, the classiest place we could find after work one night, the Top Hat. And we start talking, and, Greg Belfrich, and I love Greg, from Cal-O-Am, he's a right-wing boom, 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 boom. And, if you're watching him in the studio, you can see the spitfly. And so he's hard-hitting, etc. And I'm not. I am not going to say, so what happened on the night of April 20th at night? Yeah, that's not coming out of my mouth. And Mark says, Dave, you and Greg are alike. And I go, what? He says, you both get out of your guests what you want. It's just that when they've talked to you, they want to hug you. When they've talked to Greg, they want to hit him. So I always, that's in the back of the mind too, quite often. But I just, I love having a good conversation. Yeah.
That is, I think Megan and I both had chills as you explained that to us. And there was a very, very good jujitsu you did there. Putting the question back on me. I appreciate that. You all heard it here first. Wow. I don't know. I didn't have any. Did you have a question, Megan?
I think that's really interesting, but it made me think about how much I don't know about you, Dave. Where are you from originally? Where did you go to school?
Rock Rapids, Iowa.
Really?
Down here, 35 miles away. It used to take 35 minutes to drive. With everything that's constructed in between here and there, it's about 45 miles now.
Okay.
And so I graduated from Central Lyon High School.
Oh, really?
In 1981.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, here's another story coming in just a bit. And then after that, I went to college down in Lamars, Iowa for a little bit at a private school, Westmar College. 500 people.
Wow.
Very liberal arts. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's fine. I did get an internship out of it during the summer at KSCJ Radio in Sioux City. And man, that was a great experience because I learned radio, how to cut tape and how to do all of this. And it was so fantastic. I wish it was still around and broadcasters had to learn that stuff again. But, hey, digital is great. Saves a lot of time. But I just wasn't real happy at the private school because, here it's a small community of only 500 that are enrolled there. And in a year and a half's time, I only met a dozen people maybe. And then I transferred up to Southwest Minnesota State University, which, by the way, is a very great theater school. But I had graduated in broadcasting. And the first day, I met a couple dozen people. And out of those, there's probably 10 I still communicate with.
Wow.
And, it's coming up on 40 years ago when I this May, 40 years ago when I graduated college. Then I went out to Colorado And then was getting married the first time and came back and worked at K101 and KQAD in Laverne for 5 years. Then I got into retail for 5 years, worked at a men's clothing store. And then after that,
I'd buy a suit from you.
Thank you. And sold jewelry for a little bit. And then it was just like, man, nothing's working. I'm not it. Got a job up in Brookings at KBRK and B93.7. And absolutely just loved being back in radio. If radio could be like that yet too. But unfortunately, not the greatest business to be in anymore. You know, when I was a senior in high school, it was the fall of 1980, and I read the Central Lyon School News on the local radio station. I was the first one ever to do it live. Everybody else recorded it, but I wanted to do it live. And had such a thrill. In that time, there were about a third of the radio stations that we have now in the United States. There were about 3 times as many announcers. Each radio station had a farm director, a news director, a sports director, a morning person, an afternoon person, an evening person, and a late night person if they were 24-hour. And people learned. Yeah, it could sound pretty crappy from time to time, but people learned how to be better. And there's just not that's available anymore. You know, people will go to work at, well, you know, here in town, we have 2 buildings of radio.
Wow.
8 stations, studios in one, 8 stations, studio in another. And at most, one might have 3 or 4 announcers. But then you're also going to hear 1 or 2 of those announcers on some of the other stations, maybe even at the same time.
Wow.
Because it's all, you know, pre-recorded or there's syndication and so forth. And it's just, you know, there's no place for all the old veterans anymore from that. And if there is, you know, somebody that's there, God bless them that they made it. They didn't get lost for new ownership. They didn't get lost for, stock market's bad. Yeah, anything along that line. And so...
Well, you went the right direction because what's replaced radio for me? Podcasts.
Yeah.
That's what I listen to.
Well, and, you know, it took a while. And it was just kind of, I sat there and got, it's like, I miss talking to people. You know, finding out about them, about what their job is, anything else along that line. And I knew about podcasts, and I'm sitting there going, oh, man. Well, I'd like to do it on this date. And didn't work out. And then all of a sudden we got grandchildren and life was more important. All of these things. And finally, in 2019, I'd had enough. My father was an accountant and he loved numbers. And I always knew that I wanted to have the show come out on Thursday because Dave Roberts, that I had worked with before, and he actually still is one of the older people in radio in town. We would always, when we worked at Kello together, we'd get there early on a Thursday morning, and we'd walk up to Starbucks and sit down, and we'd toast it to being Weekend Eve.
Okay.
So that's where that part of the show comes in, was from Weekend Eve. And so I started looking at cool dates. 10/10. So October 10th of 2019 is the first episode that aired. And I didn't make any promises. I said, you know, I would like to be able to do this every week, but I had gone through some health problems prior to that. And it's like, I know what life can throw at you. So I don't really want to promise it. You know, once a month, but, you know, at least that's what I want to do. And sure enough, was there the second week, third, and so forth. And it started to grow, thanks to Bob Wendland. He was in the second episode.
Okay.
And he hashtagged like 60 people that he had mentioned in his interview.
Oh, there you have 60 future guests.
Yeah. It's like boom, 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 boom. And that's the other thing I tell people. I said, if I want, this show will never end.
Yeah.
Because I sit there and you go to something, you meet somebody new, or you see somebody and go, how have I not had them on the show before? Mm-hmm. And so perpetual guests are available to me. Now, I eventually made it basically every Thursday, but then I would take the last 2 Thursdays off of the year for the holidays. But this year I did say that I'm not going to make any promises. I will still want to have one every Thursday, but I would have to, work ahead if we were going on vacation. I'm not going to do that anymore. And so if I'm going on vacation, I'm not going to try to jam something in during that time. And also, if something comes up health-wise, just going to have to go with it there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So question, who was the very first guest?
Yeah.
Robin Byrne.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Okay, very cool.
Wow.
And Robin Byrne is the
Didn't
reason
know
I'm
that.
here, honestly. It's the he gave me my first choreography job.
Excellent.
Robin,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, what was so funny about it is, when I had done basically this show on radio years ago, it would have several different segments, cute little things. And, I was going to do like 2 or 3 other things besides what I currently do. And then I interviewed Robin, and that interview went 33 minutes. I said, you don't need to do anything else. 2 guests a week will probably be enough, 2 time slots. And so, Robin was the first one.
Okay, cool.
And he's been on a few times. Anytime he's back in town, he and I get together and,
I don't even know how it would deal with being an interview between the two of you, between his British savoir-faire and your smooth, calming voice. I would just be sitting there like Kevin Hart, like I don't even know.
Good Kevin Hart, I like that. Yeah. Any further questions?
What else you got? I have a million questions. I just
a million. Wow. Me just personally just thankful to you for what you're doing and bringing us on, and thank you to Megan for making me a better dancer, a better performer.
Well, I was gonna say, so aside from this, what's your next project? Because I know that you've been like doing quite a bit more on stage than I did before. So what's your next? And we went and saw Love Letters.
Oh, and thank you, by the way.
Very good show. Wow.
Thank
Once
you.
again.
Yeah, that was a new one for me. I had never seen it, so that was
I had done it 30 years ago, I think.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. And so it was fun getting that part back. And especially going, gosh, I don't remember that part the first time I went through it. So that was cool. But I have Vaughties coming up here this a week. Well, since this comes out on Thursday, it'll be a week from today.
Okay.
At the Icon, 7:30. Okay. And tickets are available. It's going to be a pre-St. Patty's Day fun time.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And I think that my partner, Emily Wilson, labeled it as charmed entertainment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it.
And I said getting lucky with the Irish, or getting lucky with the Vaughties. We're going to have some giveaways. We got great talent. Betty Kay is going to sing for us.
She's an amazing singer.
Yes.
Etta and the Vendetta are going to wrap the show up. Adam Googe is going to do comedy.
Yeah.
And Jesse Moffat is going to be doing magic.
Okay, cool. Wow.
And then we're also going to have a limerick contest in there.
A limerick contest.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Wow.
Because we always have giveaways, and it's like, let's have something really fun and make a little contest out of it instead of just, hey, Drew, your name.
Okay. Fun. We don't want to miss that. That sounds like a lot of good stuff.
I'm glad you brought up what you said about you performing. I would love to see you on stage again very, very soon. Oh, man. And I've already got a great idea for where you would fit. Keep your Christmas time open.
The health part dictates a lot. Because in the past year, I have fallen 7 times. Once almost broke my arm. And all of the times I fell, I hadn't even had any Jack Daniels. And then eyesight last year, like second week of January, I woke up and I didn't just have floaters in my right eye. I couldn't see anything beyond everything. It was this huge cloud and it moved and it was very black. I mean, it wasn't just,
Oh, yeah,
you know,
that's scary.
well, here's this little pinhole thing and so forth. It was massive. And I was out of work for 3 months. But I did keep doing this show because it's like, well, I can always talk. And then also last year, my mother died in August. And so just a lot of things that it's like, you know, I don't want to commit to things that I can't go through with.
I understand.
Yeah, because last year I was supposed to be in hearing as part of Premieres, and I was able to make one rehearsal, and I realized that there's going to be an 18-inch step from this riser down to this one, and I probably can't do that. And then with the bad vision and the balance issue that I already have and the neuropathy, your depth of perception gets way off. And so I have canes that I use from time to time. I have like 4 different pairs of prescription glasses. Oh, this one works today. We'll only find out tomorrow. Oh, also coming up Saturday, I have the voice acting class that I'm teaching at Premiere.
Oh,
that's right.
Yeah.
Right. That's right. Okay.
You will not, and you're the expert master to learn from. So I'm hoping that I can make that class. And
we'll get registered because I heard they already have 25.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a great,
pretty big class. Yeah.
So that'll be fantastic.
That'll be fun. Yeah. I love all those little classes that they keep offering for the various.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Great. Yeah. And,
great educational opportunities.
Yeah. And let's see. Then beyond that, this on a weekly basis as much as I can. And then, more Vaudies throughout the year in late June, late September, and mid-November.
Okay, so 3 more for the year.
Yeah. Which ones do you want to be on?
Ooh, what would work best?
The
What
two
did
of you.
I would love to. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
To do something you and I, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Well,
That's something we've
great.
never really.
We'll talk after this then.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
let's
can
do
put
that.
together some. Oh, we got some.
Oh yeah, we have some ideas. We talk about
Oh,
all these
yeah.
ideas. And
If you have never heard Megan do Tupac,
stop.
telling you, just
Oh,
telling
my. So it is Dr. Hip Hop.
you. Yep.
Maybe on the mic.
All right. Well, we got to wrap it up, but I'm going to go with this. As a first-time guest, you get 2 questions, Megan.
Okay.
How you answer the first one depends on whether we have to ask the second one.
Okay, I'm nervous.
Oh, no, it's nothing to be nervous
Okay.
about. When you are not part of the arts and entertainment scene, what do you like to be entertained by?
My kids and my dogs, I would say.
yeah.
Well, and Clinton, of course. I have 2 kids, and they are adults, and I'm having a fun time learning how to be the mom of adults. It's completely different, and I'm having the time of my life with that. So
Any grandkids yet?
no,
Oh,
no,
wait,
don't
wait.
say that out loud. No, not quite there yet. Hopefully, still some years before that happens.
Oh, no. It's the app.
I'm ready for it. I
wanna
just don't think my children are ready for that.
Okay. But it's a whole new love.
Oh, weird. Okay.
I always say there are layers of love, like, you got layers of skin, but there is, the person that you're in love with. Then there's, the love you have for other people, your family, co-workers, theater families, all of that. You've got your kids, and then you've also got, what you just enjoy doing. But when a grandchild comes along,
Wow. Yes.
it is something special.
And it's one of those things I say that about being a parent. You don't really understand that insane love for your kids until you experience
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, very much. Okay.
Wow.
So then the second question is, besides everything you do, any other hobbies?
Well, I have lots of hobbies. I have yoga, running.
Uh-huh.
I also teach fitness classes, not just
Yes.
Oh,
dance
my
classes.
goodness
So I do that
gracious.
too. What else do I do? I do love the arts and theater. That if there's a show or there's something to see and my
Right.
schedule's open, I'm there.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Excellent.
Socializing.
Support local arts.
Oh, for
Yes.
sure. If more
Definitely.
people knew the great arts community that we have, and they're missing out. I know people get busy with lives, but it's a real nice break.
Take
from
a few
life.
minutes. Yeah,
And we have some really fun things to do around here.
no doubt about that.
That's really important too. Just to piggyback on that, I didn't grow up in theater as well, I always just saw it as this thing that was happening on stage, and I didn't understand the show or something like that. And then once you never know what you're going to see and what's going to spark an idea. And I highly encourage for the 3 people that may not have gone to any shows and still out there listening, go check it out. Go check out a show, whether it be musical or just a regular what they call straight play or just any performance. Go check it out. There is something for everyone.
Or a variety show on Thursday night.
Or a variety show on Thursday night.
Yes,
Matter of fact, I highly recommend you start with the Vaudies. That's going to be your jumping off to everything.
Comedy and
magic and performance. Oof, yeah,
absolutely
awesome. So Clinton, you are a returning guest. Let's see, we're already 2 months into the year, but I think it's still a worthy question. When it comes to New Year's, are you a resolutions person or are you a goal setter?
I am more, actually I do both, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't like to make a resolutions. I don't like to do only resolutions because it's more of I think of it too much as looking back, whereas I like to set a goal going forward. But at the same time, it's a little bit of a reflection on, what haven't I done the year before that I really want to not do anymore this year, things like that. So yeah, I'd say more of goals.
Okay.
What do I want to accomplish or get to a level of?
I am a big believer in goals.
Yes.
Because if you don't make it, well, first of all, you've got the whole year in order to get it done.
Right.
Secondly, if you don't, you can look at it and say, well, why didn't I?
Right. Exactly.
It wasn't just that you failed at something like, people that want to lose weight and get in shape and all that type of stuff. But, it's something you can still make happen or reset it, for the next year. For me this year, it's the 3 Ds. Don't let disappointment dictate doubt.
That's a good one.
And don't let doubt dictate depression. Yeah, because that's something that I have dealt with and occasionally deal with. But so those are and for the most part, it's going pretty well. I've still blown up at myself a couple of times, but
we all do that.
Oh yeah. Well, we're all our own worst critics for one thing. Yeah. All right.
Interesting. I'm like the opposite. I don't do goals. I guess that's just funny. I was just listening to you guys have that conversation. I think for me, I feel like if I set a goal that I miss opportunities that just present themselves. So I just go with the flow, do the best that I can at what I do. And when a new idea shows itself, I grab it.
Yeah. Excellent.
But interesting. That's my.
And another one is don't miss Dave. So don't forget that one.
Don't miss Dave.
You lovely couple, you. Love you guys.
Well, yeah, thanks for having us. This was fun.
Yeah. All right. So, again, thanks for the time you spent with us today. Magen Richeal and Clinton Storr. Appreciate it.
Big D Entertainment. Thank you.
Peace out.
And well done. And we'll be back to wrap up the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment. Ladies, when it's time to give your nails some love, get that extra special treatment from Quality Nails on South Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Manicures and pedicures that look great and make you feel fantastic. Zaya and Towne provide professional care for your hands and feet, whether you just want the basics or an extra special look with added flair. Oh, and guys, it's okay to treat yourself too. Quality Nails. Call for an appointment. 605-334-1463.
The Dave Holly Hour. Like eavesdropping on a great conversation between 2 very interesting people.
Thanks again to my wonderful guests, John Bowe and Magen Richeal and Clinton Storr. Plenty of things to take in this weekend. Midtown Coffee Radio Hour is tonight at Icon. Not or something, but or. It's the name of a play, and that is the Augustana University production that's playing this weekend. Free Music Friday, every Friday night starting at 6 at Dada Gastropub. Saturday night at the Icon, doors open at 7 for Shelley Belly Comedy, which starts at 8. I'll see you out and about for the arts. As the Sioux Falls Arts Council says, together we art. As Arts South Dakota says, home is where the art is. As I say, put some art in your heart. Remember, my name is Dave Holly, and for me, every day is a holiday.
The Dave Holly Hour has been brought to you by Trio Jazz Club, Sioux Falls' premier jazz club, Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, Excel Chiropractic, Quality Nails, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. Stay up to date on the show by following on Instagram and Facebook. All episodes available anytime at DaveHollyHour.com. The Dave Holly Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening.